Unveiling the fascinating world of Charles Dickens. Charles Dickens, born on a cold February day in 1812 in Portsmouth, England, would grow to become one of literature's giants. His beginnings were humble, yet his birth heralded the arrival of a voice that would echo through the ages, profoundly impacting English literature and beyond. Despite his towering fame and the depth of his works, Dickens's journey through the formal corridors of education was surprisingly brief. This lack of formal education did not hinder his ascent as a writer, illustrating the power of innate talent and relentless dedication to craft above traditional schooling. At the tender age of 12, Dickens's childhood took a harsh turn when financial difficulties plunged his family into turmoil. This adversity forced him into labor at a blacking factory, a grim chapter that would later color his writings with a deep empathy for the struggles of the working class. Emerging from these trials, Dickens's literary career began to take shape with the publication of a collection of sketches under the pseudonym Boz. This work marked the debut of a writer whose keen observations of life and society would captivate readers and critics alike. The publication of The Pickwick Papers in 1836 catapulted Dickens into the limelight, securing his status as a celebrated author. This early success laid the groundwork for a career that would be characterized by a prolific output of novels, articles, and stories that continue to enchant and provoke thought to this day. Charles Dickens was not just a storyteller, he was a fierce critic of the Victorian-era's societal flaws. His observations of the dire conditions within workhouses and prisons fueled his determination to expose and critique these injustices through his writing. Dickens's vivid and sometimes harrowing depictions brought much-needed attention to the plight of the impoverished and the incarcerated, sparking conversations on reform. In his literary universe, Dickens introduced a staggering number of characters, over 13,000, each meticulously crafted to reflect the complexities of human nature and society. Through characters ranging from the destitute to the affluent, Dickens managed to weave a rich tapestry of Victorian life, capturing the imagination of readers worldwide and offering an unparalleled insight into the era's social fabric. A Christmas Carol, perhaps Dickens's most beloved work, played a pivotal role in reviving and reshaping the Christmas traditions of Britain. Its publication in 1843 not only cemented the holiday's association with themes of family, generosity, and redemption, but also highlighted Dickens's skill in using his narratives to influence societal attitudes and practices. An advocate for the rights of authors, Dickens was ahead of his time in recognizing the importance of copyright laws. His push for legislation to protect literary works internationally showcased his foresight and commitment to the rights of creative minds. This advocacy reflected his broader concern for justice and fairness, extending beyond the pages of his novels. Among the many quirks that made Dickens a fascinating figure was his secret door, designed to look like a bookcase in his study. This whimsical feature symbolized the blurring of lines between his imaginative worlds and the reality he inhabited. It served as a physical manifestation of his belief in the power of creativity and storytelling to transform and enrich our lives. Charles Dickens's life took a dramatic turn on June 9, 1865, when he was involved in the Staplehurst rail crash. Despite his own shock and injuries, Dickens's innate compassion shone through as he assisted in rescuing other passengers. This event profoundly affected him, haunting him for the rest of his life. Beyond his literary pursuits, Dickens harbored a deep fascination with the supernatural. He was an active member of the Ghost Club, dedicated to exploring paranormal phenomena. This interest not only influenced his writing, featuring ghostly visitations in stories like A Christmas Carol, but also reflected his curiosity about the unexplained aspects of existence. In his novels, Dickens often infused elements of his own life, making his work deeply personal. David Copperfield is particularly noted for its autobiographical elements, with Dickens admitting it was his favorite work. Through David Copperfield's journey, Dickens navigated his own past, exploring themes of poverty, ambition, and the quest for a better life. An unusual aspect of Dickens's life was his pet raven, Grip. This intelligent bird not only provided companionship but also inspired literary work beyond Dickens's own. Edgar Allan Poe, upon reading about Grip in Dickens's works, was inspired to write his famous poem, The Raven, showcasing the raven's impact beyond its immediate circle. Dickens was a dynamic figure, not just confined to writing. He took his stories directly to the public through reading tours across Britain and the United States. These performances showcased his exceptional oratory skills and deep connection with his audience, allowing him to bring his characters to life off the page in a way that captivated listeners. Charles Dickens's Bleak House introduced one of the earliest detective characters in English literature, Inspector Bucket. This character paved the way for the detective genre, showcasing Dickens's innovative storytelling and his keen eye for social critique. Bucket's methodical approach to solving the mystery of the novel captivated readers and set a precedent for future literary detectives. Amid his literary achievements, Dickens's personal life was marked by complexity, especially in his marriage. After 22 years and 10 children, Dickens and his wife, Catherine, became estranged. This separation was scandalous for the time, reflecting the tumult beneath the surface of Dickens's public persona. The estrangement influenced his writing, infusing it with themes of loss and disillusionment. Dickens was not only dedicated to his writing but also to his physical well-being, often walking 12 to 15 miles a day. He believed that these long walks stimulated his creativity, clearing his mind and providing him with the physical stamina needed for his demanding writing schedule. This practice highlights the deep connection Dickens felt between physical exercise and creative output. Great Expectations, another of Dickens's masterpieces, was initially published in weekly installments in All the Year Round, a magazine he founded. This serialized format allowed Dickens to reach a broad audience, including the working class, and kept readers eagerly awaiting each installment. The novel's rich narrative and complex characters demonstrate Dickens's skill at engaging readers over prolonged periods. The Mystery of Edwin Drood, Dickens's final novel, remains unsolved, as it was left unfinished at his death. This unfinished work has fascinated readers and scholars alike, inspiring various attempts to conclude the story. Dickens's unexpected death left a void in the literary world, marking the end of an era defined by his prolific output and leaving The Mystery of Edwin Drood as an intriguing testament to his enduring creativity. Charles Dickens, the literary colossus of the Victorian era, passed away from a stroke on June 9, 1870. His death marked the end of an era in English literature. He was laid to rest in the Poets' Corner of Westminster Abbey, an honor befitting his monumental contribution to English literature and culture. Despite Dickens's request for a simple and unostentatious funeral, the public outpouring of grief and respect was immense. People from all walks of life mourned the loss of a man who had, through his prolific writings, become a voice for the marginalized and a critic of social injustices. Oliver Twist, one of his most renowned works, broke new ground by bringing the dark underbelly of London into the literary spotlight. Through the eyes of his characters, Dickens exposed the grim realities of poverty, crime, and injustice, igniting conversations about social reform and compassion for the less fortunate. Dickens's innovative use of serialized novels opened the doors of literature to the working class, creating a unique bond between author and reader. This format not only made literature more accessible but also allowed Dickens to respond to his readers' reactions in real time, making his stories incredibly engaging and dynamic. A master of storytelling, Dickens was also a trailblazer in the realm of copyright laws. He fought tenaciously for the rights of authors to protect their works internationally, setting a precedent for copyright laws that would benefit future generations of writers. His advocacy underscored his deep respect for the craft of writing and the rights of those who pursue it. Charles Dickens was not just a literary giant but also a skilled magician, enchanting not only with his words but with sleight of hand. This lesser-known talent of Dickens allowed him to captivate friends and family, showcasing a lighter, playful side to the man often associated with serious social commentary. His critique of Victorian society wasn't limited to his novels. Hard Times specifically targets the era's utilitarianism. Through its narrative, Dickens challenges the notion that human beings could be reduced to mere cogs in an industrial machine, advocating for the importance of imagination and compassion in a materialistic world. Dickens's passion extended beyond the written word to the theater. He was not only an avid attendee but also took to the stage in amateur productions and penned plays himself. This involvement in the performing arts offered another avenue for his storytelling, bringing his vivid characters and social critiques to life in a new dimension. The streets of Victorian London, with their fog and mystery, owe much of their modern-day image to Dickens. Through his detailed and atmospheric descriptions, he painted a picture of the city that has endured in the public imagination. His London is one of contrast, beauty, and hardship, a living character in its own right. Adaptations of Dickens's work continue to introduce his timeless narratives to new audiences. From film to television and stage, the universality of his themes, social injustice, poverty, and redemption, resonates across different mediums. These adaptations are a testament to Dickens's enduring legacy, ensuring his place in both literary and cultural history. Charles Dickens's influence extends far beyond the written page, with his timeless narratives finding new life in films, plays, and television adaptations. These adaptations have allowed audiences worldwide to experience Dickens's vivid characters and complex stories, even if they've never cracked open one of his novels. This enduring appeal speaks to the universality and timeless nature of his work. The Creation of a Home for Fallen Women by Dickens showcases his commitment to societal reform, not just through words but actions. By offering support and a path to reintegration, Dickens directly impacted the lives of many, demonstrating a compassion that echoes throughout his literary work and personal endeavors. When writing, Dickens often envisioned a specific reader, engaging their emotions and conscience. This approach, focusing on the human experience, allowed him to connect deeply with his audience. It's a testament to his understanding of the human condition and his desire to effect change through his narratives. Characters like Ebenezer Scrooge and Oliver Twist have transcended their stories to become symbols of transformation and resilience. Their journeys of hardship and redemption resonate with readers, illustrating Dickens's skill in creating characters who embody universal truths about humanity. Over 150 years after his death, Charles Dickens's novels continue to captivate readers around the globe. His ability to weave compelling stories with social commentary ensures his place in the literary canon. That his works remain in print is a testament to their enduring relevance and the universal themes they explore. Charles Dickens's prolific nature extended beyond novels and stories. He was an avid letter writer. His correspondence, which spans thousands of letters, was published posthumously, offering a window into the intimate thoughts, daily life, and the social and literary network of one of the 19th century's most influential writers. Despite the hardships he faced in his own life, Dickens's empathy for the working class is palpable in his works. This empathy was largely shaped by his personal experience of working in a factory as a child. Through his vivid storytelling, Dickens championed the plight of the underprivileged, advocating for social change. Dickens was not just a keen observer of society but also possessed a remarkable sense of humor and a talent for satire. His works often reflect a critical yet comedic take on society and human nature, making his stories not only profound but also immensely enjoyable to readers across generations. Among his many admirers was Queen Victoria herself, who, despite the critical lens through which Dickens viewed Victorian society, expressed her appreciation for his work. This royal endorsement highlights the wide appeal of Dickens's storytelling, transcending social and economic boundaries of the time. Today, the legacy of Charles Dickens is preserved and celebrated at the Charles Dickens Museum in London, his former home. This museum not only showcases his life and work but also serves as a testament to the lasting impact of his literature on both the cultural and social fabric of Britain and the wider world.